We believe that wealth is a journey, and that this is your jumpstart to trading success. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Trader's Mindchat show, where we believe that wealth is a journey and that this is your jumpstart to trading success. I'm Mike.
And I'm Melissa, and this is so perfect because, as we're talking about trading mistakes today that people are unaware of, Mike interpreted this last take that we were just doing, knocked over his cup of water.
This is like the fourth or fifth take. There's water everywhere.
So mistakes happen, even for people who are seasoned. I mean, we've been doing the show now for how long? About 6 months? Oh my god. How crazy
we're
is
like
that?
up to episode 40, I think.
Oh my god, wow. So so mistakes happen not just in doing YouTube and podcast interviews and shows, but also in your trading. So I know as a beginner trader, I'm still just starting out, but from what I understand, Mike, that there are 5 key mistakes that people are making at trading that they're not even aware of.
Yeah, there's like 5 big ones that come to mind. The first one has to do with position sizing. So with position sizing, most people tend to either bet way too big, way too small, or they're betting the same amount on every single trade. And I thought that was the way to do it, right? Like you risk the same amount on every trade. You're consistent, and that's great. And I think that that's a fine way to start. But I think that a better way is to take into account both market conditions as well as the quality of the trade that you're taking. So it's a matter of figuring out, well, what are the market conditions, right? Like, are the market conditions great for your style of trading? How has your performance been? Like, are you on a hot streak? If you are, then you might want to be betting bigger, right? Like, the market is cyclical, so when things are working, bet bigger. And if you have an A-level trade, right, and it shouldn't be where every trade is an A. Like, most trades are probably going to be B-level trades. You might see some C-level trades that have the bare minimum of what you look for. Maybe you want to take 1 or 2 of those. But if you find an A-level trade that has everything that you're looking for and the market condition is hot, bet heavier. If things aren't really working, and you find a C-level trade, you probably don't want to take that one at all. Or you might want to take just a little tiny position, like if you're in what I would consider like a red condition.
All right, so I'm going to take this a step back because this might be a little advanced for some people who are just starting out, especially if we're talking about mistakes that they don't even realize they're making. So this will be available on marrowwealth.com, where we'll actually have a calculator for you to be able to identify what is that risk percentage. But I think one of the things is, why do you think people don't realize that this is something that they're doing, Mike? Or are they learning this from so many different sources that they just don't understand the right way to decide on that position size?
I think that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different ways to position size. For somebody that's starting out, they might not even know what position sizing is.
That's good.
So they might just take their entire account, put it into one trade, and try to make gains quickly that way. The common reason why is because, well, I have this small account, and if I put just a little bit in, then I'm not making progress. Right, so it's a patience thing.
People who just want to make money quick, or maybe that's one of the reasons that they're starting to trade to begin with, is that they think they're going to make money fast. So when they don't see those results fast enough, that might be cause for them to bet heavier or risk more.
And that's why people go for things like signal services. So you're new, okay, I don't know what trades to, what's a good trade. Let me sign up for this signal service because I'm getting ideas from somebody that may know what they're doing. Great, I've got this idea, all in, and then you end up maybe a couple of them work, but as soon as it stops working, then it's kind of like playing Russian roulette, right? Like you just need one bullet in the chamber to kill your account.
Oh wow, that's right. So what would you suggest these people do instead?
Well, the first thing would be to start to figure out how much capital you're putting at risk on each trade. Well, we have a calculator that can help people figure that out. Like you put in the amount of capital that you have, you put in where you're going to get in, you put in where you're going to get out of the trade if you're wrong, and everybody should have a predetermined place where if it goes below X, then I'm calling it quits, right? Otherwise, your risk is unlimited. And then that calculator will tell you exactly how many shares you should be buying.
And that's the position size calculator. That's the free tool on marawealth.com.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for plugging the show, the website.
That's what I mean too. No, but it's a great tool, honestly. Like to be able to have something that you're able to plug in those type of numbers and to help give you that confidence about moving forward with a trade, like that's great.
Yeah, I use it on every single trade.
Yeah, so I think if you aren't using ours, like definitely look to see what else is available for you because, like I said, this is a great tool to have at your disposal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay, so position size is number one. So that's one of the key mistakes that people are making that they're not aware of. What would you say the second thing is?
Second thing is trading against higher time frames. I've seen people do this all the time, like especially for people that are trying to day trade, people that are scalping, even people that are like shorter term swing traders. They'll look at just the time frame that they're executing on and ignore the higher time frame. So, for example, let's say you're operating on a 30-minute chart. So each bar that you're looking at is 30 minutes long, and you're only looking at that, then if there's some higher level of resistance on a daily time frame, on a weekly time frame, then that's going to trip a lot of people up because they'll get in thinking that like, oh, this trade is here's the reward to risk of this trade. I'm going to get in here and it's going to run, and then it smacks its head on overhead supply from the daily time frame, from the weekly time frame. It's kind of like if you're out on the ocean, right? And there's a cruise ship coming by, and the cruise ship is making its ripples in the water, and here you are in a rowboat, right? Like you're also making your ripples in the water, but the cruise ship is going to completely overtake you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So you need to be aware of those bigger time frames, just like the person in the rowboat needs to be aware of the cruise ship. Kind of an extreme example, but hopefully you guys get the point.
It hits home. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be in a situation like that or find out that you're in a situation like that too late.
Mm.
Okay, so number three. What would you say number three is?
Yeah, so number three, I think, is taking C-level trades or even a D-level trade. Well, whenever I take a trade, I'm grading my trades. An A-level trade has like everything that I want in a trade. Like it's practically perfect. B has a little bit less. C has a bare minimum. D I wouldn't even consider. Like it's not on my radar. But if you're somebody that is not taking the step to come up with a grading criteria, and then you might be taking C-level trades or D-level trades, or just taking a trade because you see it there without it being a high quality trade.
Do you think part of the problem could also be that they don't really know what is in their criteria? Like, do traders realize that they do need to have a set like rule book for themselves that they should?
You do need a set rule book or a plan or a methodology. The more systematic you are, and it doesn't mean like when I say systematic, like I'm not talking about coding anything, right? Like I'm not a tech guy, right? But you do want to write out, well, what's going to get you into a trade? Well, what's my methodology? Well, what do I care about in a trade? So that way, when you this is why we built the trade gauntlet, right? Like the trade gauntlet allows you to put in what you want to see in a trade, and then go through and check off the boxes and see like how many things does this trade that I'm considering have. If it has all of them, great. It's a 10. If it only has a 5, right? Like then it didn't check off too many boxes, so you wouldn't even consider it.
Okay, great. And what I'm going to do is that there's a lot of great tools that we use that some of our affiliates use that we will include those in the description just in case you don't have something right now that we'll be able to really show you where to link or where you can actually find out more information about the trade gauntlet, the position size calculator, and the upcoming risk percentage calculator that's going to be coming soon.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be helpful to a lot of people because it's true. Like you think about, like you don't really know what you need. Sometimes that's part of it. Even as a writer, sometimes you don't know what you don't have. And
Right.
you know, other people are using particular tools that may be helping them get farther faster. And if you don't even know about it, then you need to at least educate yourself on it.
Right, like so we built the gauntlet to help automate that process, make it be a little bit easier. But like if you're watching this and you're like, well, what the heck is a gauntlet? Like I don't even know if I want that. Like you don't have to get that, but like what you should do is have a checklist at least of what it is that's important to you for each trade to have, and then before you go and take that trade to see like how many boxes are you able to check on that trade.
That's a great. That's a great first step. And then
Yeah,
if you want something more automated or
more robust.
more robust, then that's when you take it to the next level. I think just like we were
Yeah.
talking about the trading journal in the last show, is that yeah, you could get this software that's available. You mentioned Edgewonk is a great tool, but you could also just start off with Excel sheet or even like a notebook, like maybe whatever you have at your disposal. The most important thing is that you take action and you do something to help yourself, at least be able to move
Yeah, like,
move
taking
forward.
action is the most important thing.
Absolutely. All right, so going back to the five key mistakes. So
Yeah,
I think we
right.
did.
So
Okay,
so
so
what
number
do we have
one, we had
next?
position size. Number two was trading against higher time frames. Number three was the grading, like the trade grades. So four, I know this is something that comes up a lot. Comparing yourself to others.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is big.
That's something that happens to a lot of us, myself included. Like I've on a bad day, like I'd start to do that as well.
Like, oh wait,
But it's
I'm
okay.
having
Like
a
it's
losing trade. Like,
generating.
why does this other guy have the Lambo and they have all these things? Like, what am I doing wrong? And you start comparing. And it could be a subconscious thing. Like, you might just be scrolling and just checking to get educated, but it could be something that's like triggering something subconsciously that could be
Yeah,
causing issues.
yeah, that's true too. Like if you're constantly immersed in everybody else's highlight reel, then you might start to think like, wow, like everybody else is doing great. I'm not there yet. Why? Right? So that's where uh, I would probably like eliminate like 90% of what's in my Instagram feed if that were the case.
I know, and
Um,
it's so hard to not get sucked up in it. Even for me, I feel that way as a writer. Sometimes I'll see what other writers they gotten farther faster than I have, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? But not looking at what the things that I'm doing right. And like honestly, everybody's on a different journey, and nobody's posting about the rejection letters really, or like the things that are going wrong. Like they're really, like you mentioned, the highlights reel. I think is such a brilliant way to describe it because people are just really posting when things are going right.
yeah, and I think that because this show's about mistakes that you're unaware of, you might be unaware that you are comparing yourself, right? Like you might be able to go back and be like, oh yeah, like I actually was doing that, but if you are having a bad day and you're like sitting there scrolling through Instagram, Twitter, like oh, like here's a 15% gain, here's a 20% gain, like damn, why wasn't I in that kind of thing, right? Like that, it's oh look at this guy like posting his Ferrari, right? Like
Yeah,
or her mansion, like
it
it's
could really take a toll on you, especially if you already are in that negative state. I think you're right. Like sometimes the best thing to do is just to turn off your phone or shut off the TV. Like my dad watches, news as soon as he gets home from work and it's all that negativity. And I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, shut it off. Like you don't want to be immersed in that 24/7. Like you want to surround yourself with positivity.
yeah, become aware and become consciously aware of what's in your environment, right? Like beyond the four walls. What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to?
And this is a great segue into our fifth trading
Oh
mistake
yeah, what was
that
that?
was mindset. A lot of people you just mentioned are unaware that they are doing these things, like that they are surrounding themselves with some of these negative environments or all this noise that could be affecting them. and their beliefs that could cause them to make the same mistake over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we wrote the mind shift guide sitting right over there. What you want to do is to become aware of the trading beliefs that you have and the money beliefs that you have. The reason why, especially money beliefs, is because, well, money beliefs can be the reason that you raise a stop loss a little too aggressively, that you're taking gains when you shouldn't be, when you should be letting your winners run.
Yeah, and the great example was one of the elite members. We'll call him Frank. He was, kept making the same mistake over and over again. He kept placing his stop loss in the wrong place, and so he didn't know why he kept doing that over and over again. He was thinking maybe it was a technical thing or something that was causing him to make those mistakes, and it ended up becoming a mindset issue, right, Mike? Where it was more about like he just wanted to make sure that he was holding on to that money so dearly from something maybe it was done from childhood or from something that caused him to cut out too soon, that he was too afraid to stay in it, even though he did have his rules in place.
Right. If the money is too dear to you, then it becomes very difficult to allow the trade to do what it needs to do.
Yeah. So I think awareness is the first step, because once he was aware that that was what he was doing, then he could start making those necessary changes to understand why he was making that mistake, and then take action to start realizing how he can fix it and correct it.
Right. Like, so if you're trading with, let's say you have two people. The first person is taking a little bit of their money and putting it into the market, and it's money that is meant for investing. Like if they lose it, they lose it. Like it's earmarked for that. And then you have person B who is in a job that they hate. They see trading as a way out, and so they like take all the money that they have and they're putting it into the market because they want to try to grow this as quickly as they can and leave that job.
Mm-hmm.
Person B is in a situation where every trade is either bringing them closer to or further away from that goal of leaving that job. Right, so every wrong trade, like every loss, symbolizes taking you further away from that goal, and it's that psychological part that's like that, and that's the part that could be tripping them up. Even though they know all about technical analysis, they've read all the books, they know about position sizing, but it's that part that they're not fully aware of that keeps on tripping them up.
I think the trading psychology is key. I think it's key, and we mentioned this in past episodes. It's usually the last thing traders and people talk about, but it should be one of the first steps as you're embarking upon your trading journey, is to be aware of what are your feelings toward money. Like even for myself, when I was helping Mike write the book, like even for myself, I never did that homework. I never even thought about it, and then it kind of forced me to really like think back and be like, wait, oh my God, like some of these things where you're holding on to and you don't even realize is at that subconscious level that's causing you to make certain decisions that, once again, like what we're talking about, that we're not even aware of. And we're making those same mistakes, relationship issues or job choices or career choices are stemming from some of those beliefs that that we've had from family, from friends, from teachers, that we've built up in our system, in our minds.
Yeah, we're all on this journey. Like everybody makes mistakes along it, right? Like myself included. Like I make mistakes all the time. But
Mike's a great example of being able to change those beliefs. Like I said, that's the key. Is that you don't have to hold on to those beliefs forever. I think that's the thing.
What do you mean?
Well, for you were able to, what you were able to overcome with your own journey, your own struggle, to be able to overcome that, to be able to now grow this business to help others.
Yeah. Like, well, what do you mean? No, something specific.
So
Like, what do you think about?
like, yeah, you were working at Sloan Kettering, like you were working at a job full time, having a family, and then to really take that leap and to say that you were going to start this company, that you were going to start this job, that you were going to go all in with your trading, like that didn't just happen overnight. That took lots of work. You went to belief workshops with Evan Carmichael, with Tony Robbins, like you were doing that homework to really realize that what you needed to help conquer for your own self in order to be able to go all in this type of job.
Yeah, so looking at that, like it's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah.
It's something that you continuously work on and work towards it, and understanding like, yeah, like it's not a straight path. Like there'll be ups, there'll be downs, there'll be ups, there'll be downs, and having to what we had mentioned in the last video too about building your environment, it becomes very important for that. And what we mentioned before too, with what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're listening to, like who can you go to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that these are a great start for you. Like if you are trading, whether you're a beginner trader or more seasoned trader, to really take a look at these 5 mistakes and try to think about, hey, are you making any of these? And if you are, completely fine. Like I said, we've made these mistakes too, and that's why we're able to talk about it today to help you become aware of it. I think that's the first step, becoming aware, and then figure out a path and a way to make positive change. So
Right.
yeah, so if you like this video, definitely give us a like, and be sure to subscribe so that you are able to get more upcoming
And hit the
interviews,
notification bell.
notification bell, all
Yeah,
that
right.
fun stuff. And then write in the comments below, like, what are some of the trading mistakes that you've made, and what are some ways that you can help that fix that. Maybe some things that we haven't listed on today's episode. So we'd love to hear from you.
All right, now take everything that you learned here and run with it.
That's right.
All right, bye everybody.